Shalom, my friends. Today, I'm be showing you what is the difference between being rich versus being wealthy and how you can become wealthy, right? So a lot of people are chasing after being rich. I want to be rich. I want to make lots of money. And I'm going to show you why this is not necessarily a fruitless endeavor, but why you should instead be aiming to build wealth. So, first concept, how do most people actually make money? How do most people understand how to make money? So here's an individual smiling, give him some hair. Let's call him Billy. How does Billy make money? Billy's got to give his time and energy. I know how to do energy. Billy's got to put in time and energy to make the money. This is how most people understand how to make money. Now, you only have so much time, right? And you only have so much energy. I'm not getting esoteric here. We actually have unlimited energy, but that's not what we're talking about today. Most people have finite time, and most people don't know how to access the unlimited energy. So, finite energy, finite time to make money. And this is why, and most people go this approach, right? When they're thinking, how much money can I make? They're thinking, I make $50 per hour, I make $100 per hour, even $1,000 an hour. If that's how you make your money, you're capping yourself by how much time you have in a day. And with energy, this means having to put in labor, put in work to make the mullah, right? You can only work so much and you only have so many hours to make money. Now, you can become very skilled in life and your time and energy can produce a lot of money, more and more money. So, a toilet cleaner isn't going to make as much as, say, a lawyer, right? Toilet cleaner, maybe $20 an hour. A lawyer, a good lawyer, $1,000 per hour. Same amount of time, different leverage of energy to produce the dollars, the pesos, the shekels, the renminbi. Now, this model I just explained, you're capped by how much money you make. So, you're capped by how much resources you can put in, how much energy and time you can put in to make the money. So, and this is how rich people make money, by the way. Rich people can make a lot of money, but still be poor. Why is that? Because if you stop working, if you stop putting in the time and the energy, if you don't put this shit in anymore, that means no more money, right? So you don't have a way to make money even while you sleep. And that is why just because you make money doesn't mean you are wealthy, and you could very much still be living in what we call poverty mindset, aka peasant mindset. I need to work to make money. I need to keep doing more to make money. This is not how wealthy people think, right? This is how rich people this is how the normal people think, and this is how even some rich people will think. I need to deliver more deliver more services to clients. I need to sell more product. This is how I'm going to show you how wealthy people make their money. So how does, so Billy was our rich person. We're going to call this one Richie, the wealthy man. Richie makes money not through his time or energy. This is wrong. Richie makes his time through... How the fuck else can I represent this? Richie makes his money through assets. Now, you might have heard this concept before, especially if you follow motherfuckers like Kiyosaki, right? He talks about assets, especially cash flowing assets. assets, cash flowing assets that produce income. So your time and energy can go into other things, the things that you actually enjoy, things that give you satisfaction and fulfillment in life, not always chasing the dollars. Now you see wealthy people all the time. They're spending their time seeing things, exploring, traveling, doing things that actually come from the heart, right? Their energy and time is all into meeting people and giving value to society. And yes, there's going to be times where they're sipping on shit on the beach, sucking on titties, all the fun things in life. But oftentimes you see that satisfaction comes from giving. I'll leave that for another video. Okay, let's talk about how assets make the money, and you can always put this back into that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, he talks about all this shit, but he talks about real estate. I'm going to talk about how assets doesn't mean houses, property, right? Fuck this shit. This is 1990s, 2000s. Yes, people can still make money with real estate, but the real game now is not property. It is businesses. Especially traditional businesses. Traditional businesses like healthcare, logistics, landscaping, construction. These things that people are doing. When you go out into the street and you see the shops, you see even the shit that you need, right? Like let's say you need someone to fucking fix the plumbing, do your garden, do all this shit. Traditional businesses. AI is not going to replace, arguably, like your doctors, is not going to replace the trucks, right? Technology improves these things and helps these businesses make more money. So when I say assets, I'm talking about platforms that produce cash flow and give you equity, right? In real estate, it's actually very hard to produce significant cash flow, and it takes a long time to build equity. With businesses, you can achieve cash flow off your first deal and equity off your first deal. And you can also grow this business if you know what to do, right? If you've got a good team, if you've got expertise, you know what you're doing, you can improve cash flow and equity almost overnight, right? You can fire people, you can introduce more innovations and optimizations in the business, and boom, instantly more cash flow, more equity, and that means more cash. Now, if you have assets, platforms that pay you without you putting in your time and energy into these things, that's how you truly become wealthy, because now your time and energy is no longer linked to your income, right? Your time and energy should actually be spent on building assets, building platforms, acquiring assets, acquiring platforms, right? Leveraging a tool, leveraging a platform so it pays you. You can sleep, you can be fucking, you could be drinking, eating, that's a spoon by the way, doing whatever the fuck, and your assets are always going to be performing, making you the cash. Now, how do you acquire assets? What I teach, as I mentioned, what I like to focus on is not real estate. We talk about companies, right? How do you buy companies with $0, and no experience? Because that's all buying assets really is, especially when you're buying companies, right? To buy a company, right, you've got a company. I'm just going to use a house because it's easier. You need money to buy it, and you need experience to run it. If you don't have money and you don't have experience, how are you going to get that? So this is you. You've got no money, no experience. How are you going to get this? So it gives you this. Think about it. Talk about this in all my other videos. And by the way, I teach this in the Owners Academy, right? That's my private community. I've got a course. You've got a network of people all around the world doing this. I'm teaching them how to buy companies with no money down, no experience. If that's what you want to do. if you're ready to fucking stop being a peasant, as I mentioned earlier, and start being wealthy, start thinking like a wealthy person, start doing wealthy people things, then join the Owners Academy. Link is in the bottom. But how do we do this? What's the answer here? We are going to use other people's money and other people's experience to buy companies. So we can make the cash. And look at this. Whoa. 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 Look at that. I just made this up on the spot. How fucking smart am I? I've never drawn this out like this on a whiteboard before. But holy shit. You want to buy a company? This is you. It looks like a downer too. That's how most people look as well. You got no money, no experience. You want to buy a company. You use person one, person two, or multiple people, other people's money, other people's experience to buy this, so you make money that you can pay yourself, to pay these people back who give you the money, whether they're investors, lenders, even the sellers themselves, and experience. This could be the same person. This person with the money and the experience could be the same person to give you both these things to buy this. Or it could be other people. So, for example, in the model I teach, we use lenders, we use vendors. What are vendors? Sellers. The people who own this. So they can provide you the cash or the loan to buy their business. And lenders, obviously we all know what lenders are, right? Shalom. Borrow money, buy shit, pay the lender back over time. The vendor could also be this person too, right? You can get so creative with this. As long as you have these elements, you want to get this. This is the goal. Whatever the fuck you need to get this, that pays that, boom. You're in the fucking clear. You're in the go zone. You're in the fuck zone. And this is very important too. Never buy companies' assets, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Especially if you're a beginner, especially if you need to make money. Never look at businesses with no money, all right? That aren't profitable, that need to be turned around. And you might be wondering, but why would people want to sell their business if it's making money and they're able to pay themselves? Why? Because there is something called the burden of ownership, right? Just because you've got a company that pays you money, you're still the owner. And even though I said that you're no longer linking your time and energy to your income, remember where your time and energy is linked to now. Yes, you're doing your other shit, but you've got to put that time and energy into this so it continues doing that. So even though you have a lot more freedom as an owner, as a shareholder of a company, especially these small businesses, you have to put your time and energy into this. And nowadays, the beauty of the modern day is the person who owns these things that we want to buy, traditional businesses especially, say a clinic, right? I'm in healthcare, let's say a clinic. Oftentimes the doctors are still running on systems, processes, still operating their business like it's fucking 2000, like it's 1990, right? Because that's when they founded it. They've been doing the same thing for decades and there's no reason to change because they're still making money. But a lot of these practices we can improve, we can eliminate. So we can minimize the time and energy that we need to put in. We know that because our expertise. So even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you can get people who do to help you identify where the gaps are, what are the things that you can eliminate so you can reduce this into this and make more of this. All right? I'm just trying to give you a simple outline here. If you want to learn the detailed shit, as I said, join the Owners Academy, link is in the bottom. I'll give you all my shit, all the scripts, what to say, the deal structures, fucking the full course on where to start, what to do at every step along the way, and I'll guide you through it all. But this video, the whole purpose of this video was to show you the difference between being rich versus being wealthy. This is what wealthy people do. Wealthy people try to eliminate their time, eliminate the connection between their time and energy to their income, right? And you see how poor, low, middle class people will never have this. This is the fucking secret sauce. Being able to use other people's money, other people's expertise to buy, to acquire, to own assets, platforms that pay you. Low middle class people don't have that, right? They always have their time and energy linked to their money. And oftentimes this money goes down the fucking toilet, goes into bullshit, right? I'm gonna call it B. I don't know if you can see that, but a lot of low to middle income people, their money goes into bullshit as opposed to back in here, into more assets, right? And the model that I focus on is companies, right? That's the best asset that you can buy in 2025 because there are fucking millions of them. There are millions of traditional businesses between $1 to $10 million in revenue that are profitable at the 10 to 30% profit margin mark all around the world. In the US, there are millions. In Australia, there are hundreds and thousands. In the EU, there are millions, right? There are a lot of these companies waiting to be snatched up. And who the fuck teaches you this, right? No one is teaching you for free, especially, how to use other people's money, other people's expertise to acquire these companies. So if you want to stop being a rich person, right? Stop being a peasant for one. But if let's say you're a freelancer. Or maybe you do e-com or crypto fucking, I don't know. Shit that where you need to fucking constantly work in order for you to make money. Like as I record this video, I don't know what time it is, about almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm standing here recording this video and I've got dollars coming in from my assets, right? They're paying me. But if I was in my original business model, which was consulting, which I still do, if I just did that and I stopped working, I wouldn't have fucking money coming in, right? I wouldn't be able to stand here, record this video, and know that while I'm recording this video, I'm making money. Or I'm not making money, my assets are making me money, right? Paying me. So just think about that. If you're in a position where you are a hustler, you might be making 10, 20, 50K, 100K a month. But if all that money is not going into an asset, remember, I just said real estate is fucking dog shit now. Like, you could own 10 properties and still not be cash flowing, and you'll have to wait fucking 10 years for a significant equity spike. Right? But if your money is not going into assets that pay money, that pay you, then you're just hustling for dollars. You're just fucking hustling for dollars. What am I doing? You're just hustling for dollars with your time and energy. Boom, boom. And this is probably going down the toilet. What you need to do is graduate. Graduate from hustler to owner. An owner has assets, has businesses, has platforms that pay them. You can be sleeping, fucking, sucking on titties, still making cash, still being a G, recording videos like me, talking shit, and still be getting paid. After this, I'm gonna make some fucking food. I'm gonna make a delicious meal for myself. I was gonna go out and enjoy I was thinking about hand-pulled noodles, right? You know hand-pulled noodles? Hand-pulled noodles, beef soup, chili. But I opted, you know what? I've been eating out a lot, trying to get shreddy. So I'm gonna make myself a nice, delicious, wholesome, nutritious meal. And guess what? I'm still gonna get paid. So I hope you learned a lot from this video. I don't know how to say goodbye in the fucking Jewish word, the Jewish language, the Hebrew, but shalom, my friend.